Bob, good morning. Welcome. My name is Dave Smolensky, and today is August 19th, 2024. The interview is being conducted at the Gulf Coast Community Foundation at approximately 9:50 a.m. This oral history is a part of the Chamber of Commerce Leadership's Class of 2024 class project. Focused here is the stories of local and multi-generational businesses. Let's start with the first question. Bob, please state your name and the name of your business and what services you provide here in Venice.
My name is Bob Vedder. I worked, but do not work now. I'm retired. I worked for the Venice Gondolier Sun for 35 years, and they obviously publish a newspaper here in town and the area. I was overall vice president of a bigger group of newspapers. Uh, so
Thank you. When and how did you begin your business?
Well, I came here from New Jersey. I had been working for the Wall Street Journal, had a great run there, and my father actually was involved in the newspapers here. His company owned the newspaper. Uh, Derek Dunrankin, who went in business with him, said, "My son's available." It was a period I had left the journal, and he's available. My specialty was production, putting out newspapers. And so Derek had a real problem at the time with that piece. He was just getting started with his partnership with my dad's company. And so he had a problem and wanted somebody to give him a little advice. So I came down as a consultant, and this was in 1978. And we uh, st- struck it off very well. And he offered me a job. And so I took it, and the rest is kind of history.
Interesting, thank you. Tell me about your background and how you came to live here in Venice.
Well, Dave, I came here because I said just a second ago that I got invited by Derek Dunrankin to come and give him advice, uh, and it was that simple. It and we love this community. When you get here, it's pretty hard not to like it. And my children at the time were 6 and 7 years old, and it just looked like it'd be a great place to raise children. So
Thank you. What about Venice made you start your business here?
well, it wasn't my business, so it was already up and running. The gondolier dates back to 1946, so it's been in business a long time, and still is thriving here in Venice. And so I just came in to help grow it, and we grew it a lot in the heyday of newspapers.
Bob, what is one of your favorite stories from the business?
Oh boy, that's a tough one because there's a lot. I think the involvement with our newspaper in the community was really the thing that I loved, and that I got involved in and that I made happen. And we became very integral part of the community. And uh, so there's no one event that I can say was our crowning event or anything, but I think just being involved in the community, and it was back when businesses were really more involved in the community than they are now, and I was very involved.
Thank you. How would you describe yourself as a business leader?
Well, I'm a hands-on guy. I went to work at 6 in the morning, did all of the work that I couldn't get done during the day. And so I loved the employees, and I loved, uh, and so I'm hands-on. Uh, I'm very involved with the employees and their problems and everything. I So between that and my community involvement, I think those were the two things that probably were uh, would would be define my involvement.
Bob, do you have any business traditions at the Gondola?
That's business traditions. There aren't any now that I know of. I had one that I mean, every Friday morning, I stood up in the middle of our business and talked about what was going on. And that was a kind of a tradition. It was um, so, but other than that, I can't think of any.
What makes Venice the unique place that your business thrives?
Well, being a small town, local newspapers uh, are the one way to communicate that not there aren't many other ways back then to communicate. The local newspaper was the way to communicate to the citizens, and so it made it. It was the only way, actually. The radio, I guess, had some impact, but so and that's continued to be the case. While you can get information everywhere now, the local newspaper has stuff that you can't get anywhere else. And it's the one that really connects you to what's going on. And so that hasn't really changed a lot. But newspapers in general are having a terrible time because they, uh, the people get their news from all kinds of sources. But their local newspaper is the local weekly newspaper, in our case, was a great way to get the information.
Thank you. What significant events in Venice history do you remember, and how did those events impact your business?
Uh, the I I I think bringing the widening the roads, widening the bridges, made it so that Venice could grow. Uh, Widening all of the inter all of it, and that all happened as I got here and after that. That's made it, uh, allow it to grow and prosper. The biggest one was actually when they put the intercoastal, made the intercoastal. That was before I got here. That was in '66, and that would be probably the most important thing that happened uh, to the city.
Can you expand on that?
Well, there was now Venice has an island, and it didn't have an island before that. but they wanted to have passage for boats, safe passage, because there's barrier islands most of the way up and down the coast. And there wasn't a barrier island here. So they made a barrier island by putting the intercoastal in. And that made a big, that made it possible for boats for safe passage. And unfortunately, cause consternation to the residents as the bridges are up and down all the time. But yeah, that made probably the biggest difference of anything.
in the way of safety or growth in the city?
Yeah, well,
And can you answer your questions to Dave? Sorry, I'm gonna just.
yeah, I think both. Yeah, I think it made it more safe, made it, and for boaters, it made it more of a boating community because it allowed for uh, off of the intercoastal, we have several marinas that were able to form, and so it made it more of a boating community. It's not the biggest boating community, but it is a boating community.
So, and sorry, I'm adding in a lot of questions. But you said that was before your time of actually working
Yeah.
at the gondolier, but you obviously know a lot about it. Is that because the gondolier was so involved in reporting that story, or in being able to kind
Well,
of?
I don't. I can't. Well, one thing, the gondolier is on the intercoastal, so it is on that was made, and but no, I don't think it. Uh, I wasn't having not been here. I can't say. I can't
That's
answer.
okay. I just wasn't sure if it was relayed. Okay. Sorry, thank you. Dave.
Bob, what are you the proudest of?
Well, the proudest. There were many things that I was involved in that I'm very proud of. The proudest one is the starting of the Rotary Futures program at Venice High School, which I started in right around 2000. That provides education for kids beyond high school. And we just celebrated Saturday night at our biggest fundraiser. Uh, so that one, we've given millions and millions of dollars to kids to go to colleges, technical schools, or whatever. And that's been a program that's a model program uh, in the state, really, because uh, we uh, we run it, we own it, and we're not controlled by the school district, but we work closely with them. That was a big one. Um, I was very involved in building the library, adding on to the library. I raised the money for that. I raised the money for adding on to the art center to make it what it is today. It's a gorgeous facility. Uh, I raised money for the Loveland campus that out on East Venice Avenue. So those are some of the bigger things. You know, I raised money for the band uniforms and I raised money for this and that. But so there were a lot of things, and that was my involvement in the community thing that I talked about in the beginning. I love being involved. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What are the big growth opportunities for Venice business life and civic life?
What are the biggest business
Growth opportunities.
biggest growth opportunities? Well, I think that the I think, of course, we're building a lot. and that's where most of the growth is. It's in the building industry, and that people hate, and because they wanted to be the last one here. But I think that's probably the number one uh, industry that's done well here.
Growth, more specifically, any business specifically?
No, I mean, I think as the city has grown
Population?
in population, when I came, it was probably, I don't know, 14,000 or something, and now it's twice that. And it's, and so I think that as it has grown, the opportunities for all kinds of businesses. I mean, when I came here, the downtown was closed up at 8 o'clock, and there was no business. Restaurants have been a lot of businesses. Restaurants have and that kind of business, ice cream shops and the like, have all come while I've been here, and it and now it's a thriving downtown downtown. Uh, so those the hospitality type of businesses have done really well and will continue to grow, and because people want to come to Venice. It's a beautiful place.
Thank you, Bob. Where do you see your business headed in 10 years? And the second part of that question, what are some big decisions you might have to make?
Well, I'm not in business now. I'm retired, and I retired 12 years ago to start what my business is now is producing floral things downtown. And I'm with Venice Area Beautification Inc. And and I started because there were no flowers in this town, and I wanted it to be a pretty town. And so I so it's been my baby to make it flowers everywhere. And so we have put in, we started with no hanging baskets. We have 90 hanging baskets now. We had no flower pots. We have 70 flower pots. We have all kinds of three-tiered fountains with flowers in them. And and so that's my business, is bringing flowers to Venice.
Any big decisions you're going to have to make in the next couple of years for that?
Well, I think the big decision is how to expand it. And can we expand it without ruining it? Because right now it's mostly downtown. Uh, and But there's areas that would be nice if they had, uh, that at their place, out east of 41. Uh, so
When did you join the Venice Chamber of Commerce? And then please state the year and how many years you've been a member.
I joined the Chamber of Commerce probably let's put it this way. The gondolier was a member here since it was one of the oldest members of the Chamber of Commerce, maybe 48 or 50 something. I mean, it's a long, long time. So that's that is a lot. I think they're maybe the oldest surviving member of the Chamber of Commerce. And I was president in 1986, which was a different millennium, different century, a long time ago.
It was, thank you. How has the chamber impacted your business?
Well, it is a way to get the word out. It's a way to make connections with businesses. We partnered with the chamber on many publications when I was at the Gondolier. And so because we were both trying to do the same thing, we were both trying to get the word out about our business. And the Gondolier was a big partner with the chamber in doing that, either by printing things or by just hosting events or that kind of thing.
Thank you. Now, I know you said that the gondolier has been with the chamber since possibly the inception, to the best of your recollection. But what would you say was the biggest deciding factor for you to stay a member, or what caused the gondolier to be a part of the chamber back when they first?
Well, I think all of the things I said. I mean, I think it was a matter of uh, uh, trying to make connections. It's a wonderful way to meet all of your businesses. I mean, we need advertisers. So it was a way for us to meet people that would become our customers. They were their members, our customers, and so they had a lot of different ways of get-togethers that help make that happen, and that's and they're still doing that today.
Very nice, thank you.
Are you still a member?
I am a member personally.
So why are you a member still to this day, considering you're retired?
Well, I like supporting the chamber. That's the main reason I do it. I like to support the chamber. It's an excellent organization that is helping the community, and uh, but I also do the networking. I mean, it's still a chance to talk to people, meet people, and sure enough, there it'll be some politicians, could be business owners or whatever. And I went to their uh, networking early bird this last week, and I got a chance to meet people, and so it's a good way to stay in touch. I haven't abandoned the community.
Bob, how do you want to be remembered?
Oh, I just that I made a difference. I want to be known as somebody who made a difference in a lot of different ways. There's organizations I've started. There's the the flowers are certainly going to be something I'm going to be remembered by. I think the Rotary Futures program is my favorite. But so those two things will I'll be remembered by, I think, and probably helping the other organizations because I like helping organizations. I'm going from here to the theater to try to help them raise money to get the theater fixed, so that kind of thing. So.
Very nice, Bob, thank you. And Bob, lastly, if you could pass on one piece of advice or wisdom to future generations in Venice, what would it be?
Be involved. Get involved in the community. M- Get join organizations that do good. Uh, there's a wonderful group of organizations. Uh, get involved in a club, uh, and but yeah, make a difference. And the chamber, of course, is one of the great ways of doing that. But if you're not in a business, get involved in service club or get involved in and uh, and give back. You know,
Bob, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate the time you spent with us to get to know you and your business a little bit better. This concludes the interview.
thank you,
very much.
thank you.
Can I ask one thing if that's okay? And I might have missed it before because I was reading the schedule. Did we talk about the actual history of the gondolier itself and like how it started, who started it?
Well, we did not, and it was, it's kind of foggy on me.
That's okay.
Who
Whatever you kind of
who started it in 1946? But there were several different owners early on, and then finally it got as I mentioned, my father's company bought the gondolier, and then Mr. Dunrankin bought half of it, and then he bought the other half, and he expanded it, put in newspapers in Port Charlotte, Northport, Inglewood, DeSoto. Ended up with papers in Sebring, and so it became a little small group of papers in this area. All of it, the Dunrankin family. They're still on the island here. They still live here. They sold it probably 8 years ago to the Adams Publishing Company, who has newspapers all over the country, and they're and they're still, but the Dunrankins have really made the big difference.
Excellent. Do you know what was the highest number of subscribers that the gondolier had at one point?
Oh, I think it varied by about 30%, season to off season. I think it may have reached near 15,000. I don't know what the numbers are now. I'm not privy to that, but